Hey everybody, listen, if you're just watching the replay, make sure you follow and not just like, and that way it'll notify you when we go live or if we have a new video. But as soon as you jump on, please say your name and where you're from, because I'm starting to remember some people, so don't forget to, okay, it is. Hey Rian. Tarina, where are you from? Let's see. All right. Hey, Sherry. All right. We have a Susan. Ohio. I know you're from Ohio. All right. Yeah, I'm always just a few seconds behind. Not very much. All right. Tonight, y'all, we're going to make I guess you could call it maybe a barnyard door tree skirt. But we're going to make them out of poster board. Hey, Chris, will you hand me those two poster boards? Like, put them on the floor right here so I can get to them. Just from the dollar store. But the foam poster board. I've already cut most of mine up. But when I mean foam, like, it has like a layer of foam in between it. At the dollar store now, and I've not seen these lately if y'all have seen them, they actually have the little poster board at the Dollar Tree. The little cutouts, which would be perfect. You probably could make one of these out of just one, especially if you just needed it low. What I did was I went over to my tree and I measured my stand. The reason why I like this, because number one, it's only going to cost me $4 to make, which is great. And they run anywhere from like $60 or $70 to $125, especially for the size tree I have. But when you order one, you're limited on your size. Like, it either has to be a really big box or a smaller box. And I hate when you see inside the boxes. So what I did was I went over to the bottom of my tree, laid on the floor and everything, and measured as far as it is in between each one of my little stand legs or whatever. You know, when I have this fake tree, so it has like the little, they fan out, but there's 4 points. Well, each one of them are about 19.5 inches from each other. So I settled on 20 inches because I really want it to fit tight to it and more under the tree. So you don't see inside the box when you get close to it. I've seen some of those and they're beautiful. They're made out of wood. I love them, but I hate it when you can see inside of them. So I got on the floor and I wanted to see, you know, how high I needed to go, because I do want it to fit not snug up and touching the top of my tree, but close to it. And y'all forget Chris has your comments over here, so I need to learn how to work this Mac computer. This high-tech stuff is not for me. But let's see. Oh, Cheryl from North Dakota. Cindy from Pennsylvania. Oh, and this is Cynthia too. New Orleans, Missouri, Pensacola. I was fixing to say, there's a Lynn from Pensacola, but it is you, Lynn. All right. Tennessee, Michigan. Oh my gosh, Myrtle Beach. We got some beachers here. That's awesome. And Kentucky just got on here. Okay. So, okay, getting back to what we were doing. Because this one has to do with measurements. I can't, like, not tell you something wrong. But I need it to be at least 20 inches wide on each corner. I would suggest, so you can make each side the same, because you're going to make 4 sides because you're making a box, is to find, like, say if one leg is 16 inches on one side, but for some reason, like another one of your legs on your Christmas tree is 20 inches wide. Just go ahead and make it all 20 inches wide all the way around. Because, you know, it's not going to look real good if you try to make it different. You're making a square box. But I got on the floor and I wanted to see as high as it could go without touching my tree all the way around, but pretty snug. So, like I said, it looks like my tree. My tree is sitting in this box. It's planted in this box. And it is my tree skirt. So my inches were 20 inches wide from each one. And it could probably go up to 14 inches. But I had like 1 or 2 little branches that were a little bit shorter. So I decided on 13 inches tall. This is our goal. I went ahead and made one side of it. Y'all gonna be so proud of me before we came on here, so I could actually say, this is what we're doing. Now we're gonna paint it to look wood, but one of the ones I saw on eBay or Etsy, I can't remember, was actually wooden like this. So you could put like a little bit of distress places on it, you know, that makes it look a little bit more wooden, but the white is beautiful. This is one poster board. It started out, it's just the foam poster board. Hey Mama, hey Beth. Ooh, Arkansas on here. Hey, seeing, watching, sprinkle. Thanks you so much, Lenore. You sprinkle all the time. That is so, so sweet. But what we did was, remember, and I'll show you on the back. I started out, I told you, I got 13 inches tall, 20 inches wide. So I went ahead and did all 4 of my sides because I want my sides to be exact. And I'll tell you, the easiest thing to do is measure up your 13 inches on your poster board like this. Let me see if I can get a little bit further back. What I did was I measured my 13 inches all the way across, drew my straight line, or no, my straight line for 13 inches. Then I got 20 inches wide, and I cut this first box out. Once you get that first box, because you're making a complete square, say you're like little tiny, you know, bit off or whatever, you want the sides to be alike. So use your first square as like your template for your other 3 squares. Wish I could get this all in there. Okay. All 3 square, I mean, all 4, you know, the other 3, and this will make a total of 4. Then you have to decide on what you want. And the best thing at this point is to Google it. And just kind of Google what you really like, because there were several that had, and these are made out of wood. We're going to make ours look like wood, but it's not going to be wood. There were lots that just had this border, wooden border around it, and nothing in the center, which was great because one of them actually had put like their initial in the front of it. And I'll tell you something we'll do, and I actually have an M over here. I'll show you what I may do. Because the way my tree is, it's sitting in a corner. And technically, when I put this down, there can be a one that's facing the wall in the back. You could actually do 4 different sides, and then every year, just maybe you like this side that looks more like a barn door. You think of a barn door. Or if you like the one that just has the wooden border around it, which is just as pretty, and it's open like it's a panel of wood inside here. Or, you know, like with the border, and you put your initials, like I could have an M in here for my last name. You know, I'm going to make 3 sides exactly the same, and 1 side I'm going to leave open in case, you know, I want to put an M in it, which I guess I could still put an M over this, but since we're going to hot glue it, there's no taking this apart. So I think that's why on my third one, one of my last sides, I'm going to leave the center without this wooden X in it, which is not wood. But, I got Vermont. From the bird dog capital of the world. That's my sister. That's where we live, is the bird dog capital of the world. And, y'all, look, you know, I got this from Sam yesterday. I guess everybody thinks I need to dress up for my little live, so we're going to do this. And today, somebody gave me this little pin, y'all, and it's a gnome. And the little hair on it, even though this is like metal, the little hair on it is like a real gnome. I think they were thinking, but I'm hot. So I'm fixing to tell you, look at my cheeks, how red they are. I'm flashing. And listen, if y'all did not watch the live last night, please go back to it, because it's all about being a woman and how we all just struggling with our thing. Oh, hey, from North Dakota. Hey, Cheryl. All right, so Boston, Massachusetts. Were you on here last night when we were talking about Boston accents? Y'all have the neatest accents. Okay. So I'm going to show you how I got this, and I've already told you how I got our first piece, the 13 by 20, just like, you know, a rectangle piece. But you can use my measurements, but the best thing to do is to go under your tree and figure out exactly what you want it to be. And the reason why I wanted to measure mine is I want it to be as close to my stand and under my tree, because I don't want you to have it too big. And when you put it under your tree, your limb stops about right here, and you can see inside your box, because then you're just going to see your legs, and it's not going to be as pretty, because the idea is that this is a wooden box planter, and your tree is planted in it, and it's just beautiful. So that's why I'm going to make mine snug. Okay. Once I decided on this, and like I said, you make your measurements to how you need them to be. When I was sitting here and I had just my 13 by 20, I knew I needed to make a border around the edge. The first 2 was just the top strip, and a bottom strip. I first was going to start off with 2 inches. I just took my tape measure and I kind of eyeballed what I needed to do. Just open your tape measure and set it on your wood. And at first I was like, 2 inches will be, really easy. But then I thought maybe I need to have it just a little bit thicker. 3 inches was too big. That would just give me just a little tiny, the X would have been weird. So I really decided on 2.5, and that's just kind of what I went with that I liked. So remember, you don't want to overlap your pieces. Let me show you on the front. You don't want them to, you want them to fit in here and be on the same level. See how that looks flat, but when you look at it, it looks like 2 pieces of wood, which it really is. It's, from here on out, these pieces of wood, they're gonna be poster board, but I'm just gonna call them 2 pieces of wood, but you still want it to be flat. So we're gonna do 2 pieces that are gonna be 2.5 inches by, remember our length is 20. So I went back to my poster board, because like I said, you're gonna use 1 poster board, and you have plenty enough room to do it this way, or you've already got this measurement right here. You can cut 2 pieces right here. You take your measuring, your tape measure, and I'm kind of weird about this. I just do a little 2.5 inch mark all the way down, and I could not find my yardstick, but I happen to have one of these little pieces of wood that kind of looks like that. So after I find my 2.5 inches, I go down, I draw a straight line. And I'm actually gonna build this next one with you. And I'm only gonna do 2 sides on here so I don't hold you up, so we can get to the painting of it to make it look like wood, even though I'm really loving this white. Okay, so I'm gonna go all the way down and find my 2 inches or 2.5 inches. Or you can just find 2.5 on one side, find 2.5 on the other side. And you did this in school. You just lay your ruler, yardstick, whatever straight edge you can have on 2 dots, and you do them all the way down. Now I've already cut up one of these pieces of paper right here, but my table is like something I'm meant to be able to cut it on, so I'm gonna cut it real fast, but pull this back. What I use is just like a box cutter, but I also got my X-Acto knife out, and it cut it just the same. This is the part you really want to take your time on, because this is foam in between it, but because you want it to lay flat and look like pieces of wood, you don't want to nick the corners if you can. And if you press on this really hard, it's styrofoam, so it'll make like an indent. And when you cut it, you really want to have a sharp, whatever you're using to cut it, a sharp edge, because it's paper on the top and the bottom, and you want to cut that paper so it doesn't tear or kind of have a little nick in it. So I'm just going to set it down, and I'm pressing on it pretty hard because I really only want to make 1 pass at it. If you slightly get off, don't try to correct yourself, just kind of try to get back to your line and pull it straight. Right at when I started, I didn't obviously do it. So we've got our 1 little piece right here. This is going to be our top piece. Where are my originals? All right, hold on for just a second. Chris brought the computer in here and moved them to the side. Okay. So and y'all, this is me being extremely cheap. But it really turned out cute. If I would have done it and it wouldn't have been that cute, and my measurements would have been all off, I'd just like, okay, I can't make this myself. I'm gonna have to buy one. But we're 14. Brenda, you have 14 inches of snow. We are having a snowstorm, and it is cold. It's cold here and it's rainy, but we don't have any snow. I'm so jelly, and y'all probably hate it. Okay, so here's just another blank piece. All right. Because I've already tested this and I know my measurements are correct, just to kind of get it out of my way, each time I'm going to go ahead and glue it on here to kind of, and listen, when I mean you can make mistakes, like say I was going down right here in this little piece, I'm even just going to leave it on there. I'm not even going to rip it off, because once I glue the stuff in front of it, we're gonna be okay. All right, so this is my end. Ooh, and I still got a little sticker on it, and they come off pretty easy. All right. Now, because you're hot gluing this, and my gun gets hot, but it was still okay. The paper is on there, so it's really not melting it, but I'm still only gonna put like a thin little line. And I'm going to hold my corners because you only get about one good time with this because it sticks pretty well. And so there's our top piece. I don't know if you can see it with the light, but we have our very, well, for me, you it's top, for me it's the bottom. I'm gonna do another strip, 2.5 inches tall and 20 inches long again, one more time, same thing. All right, so I'm going to measure on this side. I can find my pen. I think I need a bigger table, but I think if I had a bigger table, I would just put more junk on it and I still wouldn't be able to find anything. Where'd you go, pen? Did I drop it on the floor? Only me. I think there's one in my little basket down here. But I can't lose another one. Well, I say I have one. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna measure 2.5 inches on this side. And remember, I'm only on my second poster board right now from the Dollar Tree, so we're up to $2 now. All right, let me take my little make-believe yardstick here again, and I'm gonna connect these dots. And I'm going to cut my top piece off. Like I said, this is the part you want to measure once or twice. And then take your time cutting it because you really only want to make one pass. So you don't have any nicks because it's paper. And believe it or not, you know, you don't mind making little nicks on something when you're distressing a piece of wood, but on here it kind of snags the paper and tears, and it doesn't look like distressed wood. It looks like torn paper. All right, so we're gonna take our foam board right here, and we put the bottom piece on. Now we're gonna put the top on, and I'm gonna kind of stand up so I can make sure I get this on here pretty straight. All right, there you go. So we have our top on it, top piece of wood, and our bottom piece of wood. Now, remember, it's 13 inches tall, but we've taken up 2.5 inches down here at the bottom and 2.5 at the top. So that's 5 inches of our 13. So these strips right here, you can measure them out, but they should be 8 inches tall. Now, if you want to be super precise, earlier I was like, I want to see how it was. It wasn't perfect, but see, like if you're looking at this right here, I obviously didn't get it square. It looks about 1/8 of an inch shorter than 8 inches. And this side looks 8 inches, so maybe I just didn't put it on here straight. So we'll do 8 inches on one side, and I will do minus 1/8 of an inch on the other side and just connect the dots. I mean, minus the 8 for this one and this one. But I want it to be, even though these side pieces are shorter, I want them to be the same width as this. So remember, this is 2.5 inches, but then it's going to be 8 inches long instead of 20. So I'm going to get my piece of board back out and use this piece right here. Remember, I still want it 2.5 inches wide. Two and a half. But this time, see, this right here is 13 inches tall. We only want it 8 inches. So I'm gonna go up here and find where my, well, let's go and connect these lines real quick. All right, let me see if I measured that correctly. I'm gonna need to double measure just to make sure. North Carolina from, spread the love. 14 snow, rainy in Georgia. Helen, yes, it is rainy in Georgia. South Carolina from, what is from laughy face mean? Does that mean like the way I say from? Is it funny? I would imagine my country bumpkin accent. Okay, hold on. 2.5 inches. For some reason it just looked, I guess maybe it's just the way this table is looking. I'm gonna connect these little dots to get my straight edge. Because this lets me know it's 2.5 inches here. But we're gonna see where 8 inches is on our little line that we just did. And it's right here. And, oops. Now I'm using the wrong side of the, all right, and 8 inches over here. You can't be fast with measurements, and I'm trying to be really fast since y'all are on here. But Mama, you'll be so proud of me. I got one side done before we got on here because I knew it would take a long time to not only cut it, but measure it out too. So I am going to drop it on the floor. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I've got this little mat for this small little cutout here. I'm going to cut out this piece right here. And then I'm going to cut down my 2.5 inch line. I almost wish this piece was 2.5 inches, but it looks like it's probably about 1/2 inch too short, because that would have worked out perfect, y'all. And I really like when things kind of work out. Okay, so is this the side that's 8 inches? Nope, that's the side that's a little bit shorter. So we're gonna put our side piece here. So let me throw a little glue on it. And so we have our end. You see, we got our, so remember this one is gonna be 2.5 inches, but we need it to be 1/8 of an inch under 8 inches. So let's just keep using that same line. We'll figure out what is that one right under 1/8 of an inch. I mean, 1/8 of an inch under 8 inches. And here's the other side. I've got my little thing right here. Draw our line and we'll connect these lines. Okay. So now we've got our other end. And I'm just gonna cut that out real quick, because the only one that's really harder is the crisscross, is really what I wanna get to showing you. But because you already have these sides cut and on your board, you can actually use the board itself for your angles. We're not fixing to sit here and figure out angles. I'm just gonna show you like a cute little way to figure out those angles without having to, you know, pull out any kind of little angle piece. Oh, and it fit in there perfect. Oh, we are rocking and rolling now. Okay. Thank you, son. No, I spelled from wrong a few minutes ago. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Sprinkled Linda from Kentucky. Craft for 14. I've been on a craft for 14 hours, Judy. What have you been crafting for 14 hours? You must be like making one of those trees out of pine cones or something. Okay, so now we have our border. And like I said, I wish, let me maybe try to do my light down a little bit. Yeah, go down a little bit so it won't be so bright. Okay, see, just like this, I love that. And there are a lot of ones that you can buy that are just like that just have the border. You can buy them just like this that are white. They are, you know, wood color. I'm really starting to dig the white, but we're gonna paint them, make them look really like wood. But see, I love that. And what I was saying earlier is, remember the other night when I cut out an M on my, it's too big, but say if you had a letter, we cut out that letter on the foam board sheet, so you could put your initial on the, you know, one side of your box, and then like say next year you don't want your initial, you know, you could like rotate it, and this could be the front of your box instead of this side. So you don't have to make them the same. You can make them all the same. I think I'm gonna make 3 sides, I said, the same, and one like this I'm gonna leave just like this on the back of my square. So if I decide that I do want to put something in it or just have this side, I can face this to the front. I love that option. Okay, so this is what I was saying on the angle. See how like you have to have this one right here and this angle? We'll do one whole piece first, and then I'll show you how these are 2 separate pieces. But it's really not hard. I'm gonna show you why, and I'm really not lying about this. Okay, you need this piece to be long, but you're going to use the same measurements that we used on the side. 2.5 inch is our width for our boards. So just remember 2.5 inches. Thank you so much, Helen, for sprinkling. Hey, Miss Jane. All right, so see how I'm pretty much going to need this entire length to go from corner to corner. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut me 2 pieces that are 2 inches wide, 2.5 inches right this way, and go ahead and cut them the length of this board, and we're going to cut them down. But that way you'll just go ahead and get one measurement out the way. Let me go ahead and use this little scrap. Get this little end piece off right here because I don't need it. Let me make sure again. No, I do not need this little piece on the side. Remember, y'all, we're on this same piece of cardboard, poster board for one side. So we're gonna make this skirt, minus the paint and my hot glue, for $4. But if you needed a smaller one, I'm gonna show you how you can make it probably one off of that little, whatever you call this little project bulletin boards. I don't know what you call them. Okay, so let me measure really quick. And when I show you, it's just like the other one. You're going to take your measure, tape out again, and we're going to measure 2.5 inches on this side, 2.5 inches down here on this end, and we're just going to connect it with our board. Now listen, if you're making this at home and you have me on replay right now, just rewind it back out. You're just gonna cut really long pieces that are 2.5 inches wide right now. Just kind of set your board down on here and go from one corner of it to the other and say, okay, I know I'm gonna at least need that much. So right now, all we care about is that it's 2.5 inches wide. So let me cut this really quick, and then we'll cut our other piece. And I'll show you now. It'd be good to go on down, but I don't want to cut this paper, y'all. You should have seen I made that first one, and I had a sheet of paper down here, and it was just all cut up. All right, so let me go ahead and just cut this so we don't have to move that, because you really want to make one pass at it, and I don't want to have to stop and move that mat. And y'all, this is really good paper, and I'll tell you why I love having this paper too. Is right here, every time I figured out what size I wanted and everything, I actually was able to write it on the piece of paper. You know, that this is the size, how tall I wanted it. And as I figured out each piece, I wrote the measurement right on my piece of paper. So every time, you know, I'm sitting here talking to you, I can look back and give you my measurements. And you're going to need that when you start doing any kind of craft where you have to measure something. But remember, you're only going to have to do this one time. And you've got $4 in it. So say by chance you put it up in your attic or wherever you put your Christmas stuff and it accidentally gets broken or something, you just might have to bring out your glue gun again and make you another one, but it's not like you've lost just a couple of bucks. And because this is so cheap, say if I, you know, end up really liking just the white, then I can actually make myself two. Because, you know, I'm not above that. You know, not to decide on a color and just go ahead and buy both colors. I have a problem. Because the more I sit here and I like the white, but I'm looking at my tree and it's red and gold, so white is really not gonna, probably could get away with it, but I think it's the wood is gonna be better. Okay, so this is my second piece. All right, so this is what we're left with. It's not 2.5 inches. I wish we could use it on another one, but that after this whole side, that's all we have left. Besides that one other, this little piece right here. Okay, so we have our two sides. Okay, now, and this is the part you have to remember to make it look like it's kind of authentic, is if the top, okay, corner to corner. So like you're gonna take this little piece of wood right here, and I want this to stop on this corner. So I actually gonna take this little push pin tack and hold it on that corner. So if this is the bottom of my piece of wood and it's on this corner, then the opposite, the top of my piece of wood needs to be on this corner. And I couldn't find but one of my pins. Maybe I'm stepping on the other one. Ha! Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so I'm gonna put this right here. Now, see how it's just, the push pins are holding it down. All right, I'm gonna use this so you can see it. Now, I'm gonna take my little ruler thing here, and I really need to back this little push pin up. And I'm going to put it on this corner and put it on this corner and take my pen and just draw my line right there. That's where I'm gonna cut it. Now I'm gonna go to the other side and do the same thing. Let me back my little push pin up. I'm gonna find the corner there and the long side over here, and I'm just gonna trace it. And that's gonna let me know exactly where to cut it on here. So I'm gonna take it back off with my push pins. I hope I'm explaining this good. And I'm gonna take it off the board, put it on this mat to cut it. So I'm just gonna follow my line. Whoops. Oh, and that didn't cut very well. So let me be careful with this side. Okay, so here we go. Now we have our angle where this side will fit in here and this side will fit in there, just like that. And I haven't even glued it yet, and it's in there. All right, so like I said, just to make sure I got all my sides right, I'm just gonna go ahead and glue this down. And you don't have to put a lot of glue because you're really hot gluing paper to paper. So there we go. I feel like my nose is running. There they are. All right. All right, so let's see. All right, so we've got, and even I think just one is really pretty. Like when you see those Barney, they have like the Z on them. I like just one, and you can buy them like that too. But we're gonna go ahead and do the whole thing. All right, we're gonna do the same thing that we just did with the other one. Some more little scrap pieces, which I'm not gonna keep. All right, so here's our other piece. Now, remember, okay, and I wrote it, if you go from the corner on the top of your wood, like so, and what I mean is like, this is, say, well, for you, it looks like the top of the wood is in this corner. So that means the bottom of this side needs to slide back and go into this corner. put my little push pin away from it. Now remember, we got to glue this down flat, so we're gonna have to do the same thing in the center as we do to the outside. So we're gonna take this and find where our corner is here, where it opens up right there, and draw our line. Do the same thing over here. We're gonna find our corner and the top of it right there. Y'all, and there may be some kind of better way to do this, but I'm no good at angles. I couldn't even tell you, you know, that. Okay, so same thing here. You'll find where your board starts, where it ends, and you're just gonna draw that line, trace it, same thing on this side. Well, when I break out that, you know, I want to do some angles and all that. Y'all know I'm cheap. I want something, but I do not want to pay for it. But, you know, we're getting it done. But you know how sometimes you just see something, you're like, I know I can make that. And I probably end up spending more money. But on some things. Okay, so this one we're going to end up, remember, with 2 pieces. It's not going to be one whole piece again, like the first X is. For whatever reason, I'm not starting cutting these right. Okay. Remember to follow your lines. Don't try to think where you think it's supposed to be, because you know that kind of looks like a weird little piece, but that's what you need. Okay. And then this angle. Ooh, kind of got off my line on that one. Trying to get fast. Okay. All right, so let's get all these little pieces out the way. All right, and this is gonna be our top little piece up here. And ooh, hold on, maybe hopefully I got that one backwards. Yes, phew. I was like, it's almost like it's got a little gap in it up there. Okay. All right, so these are our pieces now we just stuck in there. So let me go ahead and get those glued down. And guess what? We are finished with the second side. Now, I'm not going to do the third and fourth side. I'm going to put you through all that. I'll do those. Because like I said, one side, I'm just going to do the border on the outside. I've got glitter in here. When's the last time we worked with glitter? Still up here. Okay. So now we have the front and one side, or whatever. All right, and I'll show you. I'm going to tell you how we're going to put these together, but I'm going to paint them first, because you know I'm going to put them together with Jenga blocks. It's my favorite thing. Okay, so let's see which one will be pretty to paint, even though they look just the same. Okay. All right, these two. All right, so, but when we go to put them together, I'm going to only put 3 sides together, because I think when you buy them, they Velcro together. So I guess you could go out and we're going to do Jenga blocks down each side. So, and then glue our Jenga blocks together. But you can go and get that like Velcro stick-on stuff and just Velcro them together each time. That part I just thought I'm going to put 3 sides together and slide it right under my tree. Just slide it in there. And then I was going to glue one side to the back so it would hold it up. But with actually 3 sides, it's going to hold it up. And glue one side and just keep that one side in the back open. I mean, I could just kind of pop it out when we go to take it apart. But that's as far as I've gotten on this so far. But remember, don't put all 4 years together unless you want to have to lift your tree up and set it on top of it. And now, if you're just putting your tree up, you can do that. But my tree is completely up, so I'm having to make this and then slide it under my tree. But remember, you can glue it all together and then put it under your, you know, set your Christmas tree in it before you decorate it and open it or whatever you're going to do with it. But remember, you'd have to store it as a square. So find a way that you can take them back apart. But like I said, I'm going to put 3 together, and I'm just going to probably pop them loose or something to put it up. But remember, we have $4 in it, so if we pop it loose and it tears up, we just have to make us another one. If it works for you, don't worry. Look like a 45-degree angle. It may be, but you know, I'm not up on my angles now. I used to say that too. All my family would laugh and say Judy could make that laugh. I'm the same way. I'm like, you know, I could do all kind of stuff. You just give me some popsicle sticks and I can make something. But it's fun too. It's fun, so I can say, everybody's like, oh, I like your skirt. I'll be like, I made that. Yep. Didn't pay $80, $90, $100. Because, I mean, they're like over $100 just on Amazon. They're beautiful, don't get me wrong. But, you know, once I put my presents down there, you really won't see it. So I want it to be really pretty, but I'm not paying all that kind of money for it. Because, like, in 2 years from now, what if this is not a style? And I'm thinking, you're going to sell something I pay $80 in a yard sale for like $5? All right, I paid $4 for that. You can have it, or I can throw it in the trash can, and then we don't feel bad. And that's how we justify to our husbands that we can go buy something else for $80 because we saved you $80. That's the logic I use with Chris. Oh my God, you're great. I love you, Sherry. You know I do. Okay, so we're gonna paint now. And I'm telling you, I really love, like, look at this in person, you can maybe see a little bit of my pen marks. So I would say if you decide that you want to leave it white, paint it white. That's going to cover up any kind of pen marks. It'll, you know, have that little wood effect, because once you paint it white, you can go back and maybe, you know, rub or distress some corners with paint to make it look like a little bit of aged wood. And once you just add that little bit of maybe brown edging or gray edging or something, it's really going to look more like wood. But I would definitely say paint it, even though it's white, and it would be so easy from a distance. I don't think anybody could tell. I mean, I think I did a pretty good job. So for like way back from a distance, to me, that looks like a piece of wood. It's not. Came from the dollar store, just $1. My sister Stephanie says she loves it when I say it's just $1. But it is. Hey, Lottie. I'm fine. How are you? We're going to paint it brown. We're going to paint it white. Then we're going to stress it some more brown so we can make it look like brown. Make it look like wood. But I've seen it where they have like the gray kind of shiplap almost looking wood. And like I said, the ones I'm talking about I've seen, they're actually pieces of wood. So when I say that but even if this was a piece of wood, you're going to have to paint it. So like I said, you can go out and get you some pieces of wood and do this. And you're going to pay more than $4, but you can do it. But if you do it, you better send me some pictures of it, because I bet it's going to be beautiful. Because that's kind of the way I am. Even if I want to make something out of wood, I'm like, I got my saw. Because I would hold down a piece of wood just like that and trace on it and go outside with a skill saw or the miter saw and cut it right along those lines. So you can use those same techniques with real wood, because I'm not good with angles. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It may be 45. I don't know what that is. I don't think you're talking about 90, but yeah, it may be 45. I don't know. Don't ask me. Okay, so first I'm going to start off with, and I brought a couple of colors out here because we're painting on paper, and I'm not really used to that. You know, like what it's going to, you know what wood is going to do. But this is a real, it's called, no, it's antiquing. I didn't want antiquing. There's one I brought out here called truffle. No ink. Shoot, did I not bring that one? We got some burnt umber here, which is the same thing. It's just be hard for y'all to see. But it's just like that chocolate, like antiquing. But I don't have the lid for it. All right. I don't think I've painted with acrylic paint in a while, so. But we have our blow dryer from last night, so it won't be too hard to let it dry. But don't worry, don't think I'm covering this up or anything like that, because we're gonna make it like put wood white back on it. Yeah, this paper is soaking this paint up. But I'm not going to worry about painting one edge of it. Like, you know, like say if this is what I'm going to use from the bottom, I'm not going to worry about paint. I don't even want to put paint on there. But if this is the top, you could see the edge through the, you know, through your tree or something like that. So I would suggest painting the edge. Now, if you're worried and you don't do your measurements quite the way you want them, I would go ahead and paint the back. It's smooth. It'll be easy to paint. That way, if you ever see inside the box, inside your tree, you know, it won't be white in there, especially if you don't have any white on your tree anywhere. I would suggest throwing a coat on the inside. Y'all, you could decoupage stuff on this. I mean, I don't know really what you'd want to, you know, decoupage on it. But I'll tell you another one I did see that was like this was they had actually just made a box out of this and they wrapped it with wrapping paper so it looked like a big present. I thought was really pretty too. And then you could actually put the kind of wrapping paper, you know, if you change kind of a theme of your tree, you know, your wrapping paper can change to the theme of your tree. I mean, I didn't like it as much as this, but, you know, if you're not into the distressed wood, you know, that's not part of your decor, then, you know, you always have like the present idea too. Or you could paint it to look like a present too. I would suggest maybe just go ahead and wrapping it with paper unless you don't have the paper, but let's see. That logic works for me. It sure does, Linda. Merry Christmas to you too. That's so beautiful. I love it. I know. I love everything you make. You always make me smile. Stephanie, thank you so much. You're so sweet. I love it. I think that's probably why I get it. I'm cheap. It's probably why I got into crafts. You know, you get cheap and you don't want to have to buy it. But, you know, too, when I was little girls were little, we were so poor. I mean, if I wanted something like this, I had to make it. I didn't have the option of, you know, you'd rather spend it on presents or something for your kids. Yes, I use that logic on Chris all the time. Like, listen, I mean, either I got to go and get me some poster board or I got to go get this new tree stand. I mean, everybody's got this tree stand. No. Because, I mean, really, when I walk in the door and I had 4 more poster boards, he was like, what kind of crafts could you possibly need? I'm like, I'm making a tree skirt. It's only gonna cost $4. Don't you want me to just spend $4? More poster board? He's like, you gonna have poster board in that hoarder room, craft room? Yeah, no, I have really cut up all my poster board. But I did get something at the Dollar Tree today, and this is the first time I've seen it, and I'll show it to y'all in just a second. You're going to be so happy because you're getting more bang for your buck. And when I catch somebody walking through here that can hand it to me, I'll be able to show it to you. So we'll just say it's going to be a surprise to them. Y'all, this looks like a cute little door like you see on the front of a stall in like a horse's barn or something. It really is really cute. Just like this. I mean, really, like I said, really take your time on your corner so they don't collapse in or tear. And it really looks like a smooth piece of wood. I'm really impressed with myself. Sometimes I impress myself, but I think it's just because I knew that in order for it to really look like a piece of wood, I had to take my time measuring because most of the time I rush. I'm a rusher. I love to craft, but I don't like Judy, you said you'd spent 14 hours on a craft. I'm thinking, I don't know what's worth 14 hours. I got to see results before 14 hours, unless you're letting something dry now. But it's even hard for me to do that too. That's why when I watched somebody and they were like, ooh, you can put E6000 on it, then squirt some of your hot glue on it. That way it'll stick together and you can keep on crafting. But yet in the long run, the E6000 will harden and it's on there forever. I mean, there are some genius crafters out there that you're just like, wow, really? But you know what I don't have to do tomorrow? I don't have to go to work. I'm going and finishing the rest of my Christmas shopping, and I'm going to Hobby Lobby because last night somebody said their stuff was 66% off. So I'm going. I hope I go early enough and people are still working and there won't be traffic. I can wait in lines all day, but I do not like traffic. Oh, from Arizona, love your crafts. Thank you so much. I've made a Christmas tree from pine cones and painted them and put Epsom salt on the pine cones while wet to make it look like crystal and use one of the cone shapes. That is unbelievable. And I've seen a lot of people do it. There was even this one lady that did a Christmas tree like life size with pine cones. It had to have taken her like all weekend to do that. Love this idea. Thank you, Judy. I love it too. Love to see a picture of it. I just love watching your crafts in and could listen to you talk all evening. Oh my gosh, Rose, you just don't know I could talk all evening. Look at me getting all behind. And last night I was like, tomorrow when I do this craft, because there's so much measuring and stuff, I'm not going to run my mouth. I'm going to just get to crafting. And look at me, I'm already running my mouth. All right, let's see. Because if y'all, my sisters are probably watching, they just aren't saying anything. They're not like me. They don't have a talking diarrhea mouth like I do. But they will let you know quick that yes, I do have a talking problem. All right. And make sure you get those sides in there. But I think once you put like the first coat on them when we're distressing them and all that, won't be so bad. And normally I would say if you're going to leave it brown, or really even if you distress it a little bit, but you're going to leave it mostly brown, with this acrylic paint, I should probably go back and put another coat on it. But I want mine to mainly be a little bit more white. Like maybe it was once painted white and all the paint just faded off of it. That's kind of the look I'm going for. If it doesn't turn out that way, because sometimes you can't blend and distress on paper like you can really on real wood. So we may have to do a little bit of different techniques to get it where we want to, but I'm hoping this is going to work. Look above what I said about crafting. We love listening to you. Pam, you're so sweet. Hobby Lobby is always packed with people. Oh my God, Miss Jane, don't tell me that. Which, I mean, I don't mind. You know, I could dig and scrap and try to get something with the best of them. I just can't sit in traffic. I have no patience for being in the car. Years ago when we were first married, made a life-size tree out of pine cone. Oh my gosh, Stephanie, that was some work. I mean, does it like eventually kind of disintegrate or like mess up? I know pine cones hold up really well, but I wouldn't know about making a whole tree out of them. But now this girl's tree was beautiful that I saw a picture of it. I just thought, now that's some patience. And that's some glue, because y'all, I'm still not finished this ornament Christmas tree over here. I finally got some more ornaments to put on it and a little star, because I was like, no, I'm gonna do the trunk out of ornaments, but I just bought a little star to put on the top of it. But that's taking forever. Then I kind of thought, oh, I'm gonna spend just a few bucks on here because I got the big picture for free that I painted over. Somebody was just gonna throw in the dumpster. But I mean, I had to put a gazillion ornaments on it to get it the size it is. Okay, so what I did was I went ahead and painted my edge up here. And even as close as I am, it's not too bad that, you know, you see that it's two pieces. It almost looks like just two pieces of wood on it together. All right, So if you see it looks like in places that it probably would need 2 coats if you wanted to just do the brown. But remember, like I said, I'm going to distress it with my white, so I'm really not worried that much that I didn't do the second coat on it. Let me put my cap on this. Just covered it up and stored it in garage. It held up well. That's awesome. And plus, if you kind of hit it and one popped off, you probably could just glue it back on it. It seems awesome, and they look beautiful. But y'all know me. I'll be gluing for days. And I'm like, where am I going to put all this stuff that I have now? Chris, it turned out really, really good. Look. Hey, you see where my purse is? And there's a Dollar Tree bag hanging off of it. Will you hand me that bag, please? Because I didn't need anything else from the Dollar Tree. I went in there today. We're wrapping presents for families that we help at the church. And they needed some tags and some big bags for bean bags. And I was like, I'll stop by the Dollar Tree. I really had to go in there with like horse blinders on. I repeat myself, I'm just coming in here for tags. I'm just coming in here for tags. But then I did go to the back because I was like, well, let me see if they go have those finger protectors. They still didn't in our Walmart. But look at this, y'all. Jenga blocks. It's like double the amount. Instead of 36, it's 72 blocks. Just $1. When I looked, I looked up in there and I was like, I don't really need any Jenga blocks. But I was like, that box looks really, really big. Pulled it out. So, and look at these pieces. You know how like when you get the other ones, sometimes the other ones are like those dark Jenga blocks? No, sir. They're all like... You know, they're all just wood color ones. My hubby says I need to open a Hobby Lobby discount store out of my garage. Judy, me too. So, we needed that anyway for our, and this is something that I don't know if you've seen it, but I'm just seeing them. There's some kind of little, they look like they're rounded on the edge like dice, and they're 2 different colors. They don't have any numbers written on them or anything. But, hold on. Is it one whole piece? Oh my gosh, they have magnets in them. Oh, no. Okay, I see what it is. Whew. I was like, what is going on? Okay, they're some kind of like little, they got like a string in them.
What you got there, Bill Nye?
Chris calling me Bill Nye, the science guy. I'm like, what is it? It says brain teaser. Whatever that is. But they're all connected. But you can cut that string. It's elastic. But look, now you have all these little beads. And they're actually really pretty and shiny. So if you had something that you wanted to show, that you didn't mind showing and you didn't have to paint them, really cute. For just $1. So, and then for the first time I saw they had little scraps of material. Normally you can buy this at Walmart for like $3. Sometimes they're even more than that expensive. I don't think it's a yard. Yeah, it's a piece that's just 20 by 21. Looks like maybe a poster board size, but they had some Christmas. I can't get this off fast enough. Believe. Okay, that's what it says. Peace, joy, love, but it was like little reindeer. Don't know what I need it for, but I thought I would just grab one. The craft section should not have had all that stuff back there to tease me with. Bought 6 boxes yesterday, Rhonda. Got me 4 boxes. Yeah, see, Chris, I'm not the only one there on here. They have bought them too. I have not seen them. She cracks me up. Takes very little to excite her. Let's see. Yes, you're supposed to make a pattern by twisting them together on a string. Yes, I think it's like, it was in the kids department where the little Jenga stuff is. Hold on, I got to see what April, Miss Jane. Oh, Chris, I think I might have downsized myself on here. Y'all hear him? He's so mean. All right, I missed what you said, April, about me getting excited. I was super excited about this. I was like, look at this big box. But I'm not the only one. Somebody else has gotten it too. Chris, I think I'm like paused on here. No. I was stopped myself. Thank you, Laura, for sprinkling. Okay, so let's get back to this. Me showing y'all my dollar store finds. Dollar Tree store. Huh? Chris says, how much was it? 50 cents? It's gone to the 50-cent store now. All right. Most you ever spent in one Dollar Tree trip. Oh, Miss Jane, I can't answer that one. Chris, and here, Miss Jane says, Sin, what's the most you ever spent on one trip to the Dollar Tree? I don't know. It's not probably as much as y'all think it is. I just sometimes make frequent trips.
It's like a payment on the Mercedes.
No, it's not. I've never spent that kind of money in there. But the other day when I posted that little joke that said, what was it? It was like, oh, my husband wanted to know why our checking account was $100 less, and it's got Leonardo DiCaprio walking in with dollar store bags, and I was like, this is definitely me. Yeah, that is probably definitely me spending that kind of money, but never have I spent like a ton. He's laughing at me, but I haven't. That's what I was talking about. You have to go back and watch how you reacted. We will talk private. Jane wants to know. I don't know, maybe $150. But when I shared that joke, this is what I was going to say. When I shared that joke, somebody commented on it and said, this lady in front of me the other day was leaving. She spent $78. And I thought, well, that was a good trip then.
Yeah, that's one road.
Yeah, I was thinking if she got out there spending $78, she did really good. Because, I mean, I don't know. You just go in there and you see something like, Lord, you go in there and they have little tiki torches in the summer and you're like, oh my gosh, you go to Walmart and they're like $10 for tiki torches. I need to grab some tiki torches in case I need them. I think probably $150. That's probably my biggest haul going in there. And that's probably when I first discovered the Dollar Tree. I'm like, I'm getting me some stuff. We will talk about, I've seen that. Take $10 with you. Psst, girl, I don't ever carry cash. I am a debit card person. If I have $10, I'll spend $10 on it for sure. But yes, I have. But I mean, my logic, I had to share that logic with Chris. I'm like, okay, would you rather me spend $70 at the Dollar Tree knowing I walked out there with 70 things? Or do you want me to go to Hobby Lobby and even with 50% off, I maybe got 5-6 things for. So, I'm like, so which one you want? Which one you want? Be cheap? Want me to be expensive? You got to pick one. I don't wear expensive clothes. I really just like to wear the same 4 or 5 leggings that I have every week. And I get those at Walmart because I'm so super cheap. So, I may have a dollar store or Dollar Tree, Dollar General Hobby Lobby problem, but I don't have a shoe problem. Well, I take that back. Now, shoes, yeah. But I don't have a clothes problem. I don't have a purse problem. So, we're still good. We're still rocking and rolling. He doesn't complain. Because then we'll be around some of my friends, and they'll say, well, we got this and all that. And he'll look at me and go, you going back to the Dollar Tree? He'll have no problem with me going and doing that. Okay, so we got our brown right here. And like I said, I'm going to do a little whitewashing to whitewash it. And then if I get too white in certain places, you can always go back and add your dabs of brown. But brown is just going to be my background. So I'm going to take this on the corner. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see. I can turn the comments off. Chris knows if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. You right about it. I'm terrible in a crafting store, any store where there are craft supplies. I know, because you tell yourself, I'm going to need that. All right. My brush is, and listen, I'm going to paint it with the grain like it's real wood. So don't make any swirly marks or, go this way and then go out there. You don't want to do that. I'm just going to paint it just like if it was wood. Because it's wood. It's my wood. I don't like this better because you think if it was really wood, it'd probably be really heavy. Where this is just light as it can be. Okay. All right, I want it to be a little bit heavier on the white than this. Ooh, and little I'm being really careful, but say maybe like little imperfections in the styrofoam, just a little bit and down right there. It kind of looks like, you know, maybe wood. It's kind of gotten a little scuffed. I wouldn't suggest trying to do that really hard, but I do like that on here. Like I said, I'm trying to get kind of heavy. And this is kind of soaked in pretty fast, so it's not really blending, because I don't want it like a light brown color. I don't want it like this to be wet, because when you start blending, it doesn't look like it used to be painted. It starts looking like a blob. Okay. I like that so far. See how it's looking like wood. Looking like just, you know, we painted it. But the paint's chipping or wearing off. And like I said, if you add too much white to it, we can go back and put a little bit of distressing, which I still will. But, there we go. See? Even more. I'm going to do the bottom. And I'm just using like a cotton, which is just like a really white, but it's this Dixie Belle. And it's a chalk paint. That's why I don't have to be so heavy-handed with it. Okay. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna go with the grain like if it was a piece of wood on the side, just like I did the bottom and the top. Let me put a little bit more over here. That's exactly what I said about the Dollar Tree. Could be jewelry is what I say. Yeah, could be something that's like really expensive. Can y'all tell I love to tease her? I mess up, redone, Russell, pig hug around the neck. Ah, thank you. Loving what you are doing tonight. Yes, I love it too. I like when we do big projects. All right. What are we looking like on time? Are we doing good on time tonight? All right, so we want to go. Ooh, and that paint is turning up that paper just a little bit. So look, don't put a whole lot on the edge. But you can just take a little bit of Elmer's glue, and I wouldn't use your hot glue because on that styrofoam, it's going to melt it. So if it comes up a little bit like that and you can't blend it with your paint, just stick a little bit of Elmer's glue under there. And you can use the blow dryer and do it really fast and just keep on crafting. Okay. Oops. My little part was still wet, so it's trying to blend, and I don't want it to blend. Okay. All right, there we go. That's that pieces. Now, I'm going to go across my X's just like if they were a piece of wood, too. Just like we're doing on all the other part. I don't want to have too much on the brush. Don't tell I love you. I mess up, love you. 8:48. All right. We're doing good. Just over an hour. And we're almost done. Because last night, y'all, I have to admit, I did not sit here and finish my Noel. I just was tired. I was ready. I hadn't read. You know, y'all, I'm a big reader. So I was like, I'll just finish crafting that. But I am going to sit here and finish this. Because, number one, Julie's here. And I want her to see how pretty it's going to look. But I want to see how it's going to look. So I can take a picture and show y'all. Love this. And all I have to do is just make one more side like this, because the last side, the one that's going to be in the very back, I'm going to remember I'm gonna put, I'm just gonna put the edges around, because this part here doesn't take a long time, but it's just another step. And the one that I'm not gonna do, because I really kind of want to make a little M or something to put in it. Watch me like it the best and end up putting it out front. Okay, and I'm just doing this one, like one little piece. Just think of all the pieces you cut. Just do those first. So. All right. It is looking awesome, awesome, awesome. I kind of like it like that and leave that part back there, but nope, we're gonna finish it. Y'all, I'll end up with probably 4 sides of this thing before it's over with. Or back out at the Dollar Tree, get me some more poster board. Maybe I can just make about 3 or 4 of them, pick the one I like, and then call some of y'all to come out here and get it. Okay. How do I want to... I'm going to go from out to in. Like if this is the outside. Okay, so what I did, I went from like, this is the piece of wood is going this way, so I went from like the outside into the corner. Okay, so that, let me get this little edge. Okay, so that's one corner. There we go. Now you can do this in reverse. You can paint it all white and then put the brown on top of it. Give it a whole nother distressed looking wood part. Just as pretty. The gray would look pretty. You would just do the same steps, but you would just start off with like maybe a steel or some kind of granite color, a dark color on the back. Or you could put black on the back and just you know, put, you know, different color whites on top of it, and it'll give you that gray look if you want. I mean, because that like shiplap type gray looking stuff is, I like that really. I like that a lot too. My tree is gold and red, so I'm kind of and the antler thing I put on the back is really more of a chocolate brown, like a real deep brown. So that's why I'm not putting any gray on it. But y'all, now that we know how to make this, oh my gosh, when we have to start back doing crafts that are just, you know, crafty decorations in your home, you could make this board, and then you could put like a wreath on it. You could almost put it on either side of like your television or your bed, like it's shutters. You know, we could maybe put like some kind of triangle piece over it. Oops, on the wrong side. Triangle piece over here, like it's a hinge on a door. Be really cute. I think we might have to try that, especially if I end up doing some more that I don't know what color. We'll make them like they're craft. Oh, hang on the door. It's super light as this is. You could hang it on a door as like a wreath and put all kind of things on it, because on the back all you would have to do is just maybe glue a pipe cleaner or something to it, because this is really, really light. It's just poster board. Okay, so we've done that distressing like we want it. Now I love that, but I'm going to go back and kind of do a little bit more dark on the edges to kind of clean some of the corners and the edges up. Because now I kind of have my wood distressed like I want it. And it'll kind of define it a little bit more. And it's really soaking in this paper really fast. So you just want to make sure it's dry, because you don't want to blend your colors. Remember, it's like you've taken it and you know, taking like a, what do you call them, a sanding block to it. You don't want them to blend. So let's see, let's go back and find our chocolate brush. I think this was it, yes. I'm gonna really kind of dry it as best I can, because I wanna kind of just like because I really can't use a sanding block on this. I mean, I guess you really could, but I don't want to tear the paper on the top of it, and that would just kind of sand some of the paper. And then we're almost done, y'all. And I'll sit here and do the other sides. And I'll show you how I'm gonna glue them together. But let me get my glue gun is, yeah, it just died. Talking about my best friend, my glue gun, I think knows I've been cheating on it with that little cutter. We finished our Chrismon ornaments today, and so I got to use my little cutter all day. So I told Pam today when we were doing it, I said I didn't have to use my hot glue gun last night when we were doing our plaid painting. I said, but I turned it on just because I didn't feel right without turning it on. To have my extra supplies. Y'all, I'll have to tell you, I had these old bookcases, and I took like the little cheap stuff that comes on the back of the bookcases, you know, that cardboard looking stuff, and I put like 1x4s on the back of it, and then I painted it all white. So that's why I have those big sheets of the stuff that's like this you get in the store, and it's like a 4-foot by 8-foot piece, is because I told Chris I wanted to put barnyard doors on the front of those, but I didn't want it to be heavy, the door, because I'm not doing 2 doors on them. I'm doing just one whole door that'll latch on the side, and I'll open the whole door on it. So first thing I did was I got E6000, because I have to, the big hinges that I put on the, you know, like the side right here, I was like, I know I could hot glue it, so I don't E6000. Well, E6000 ate the foam. You can't use that on foam board. I don't know about regular styrofoam, but on that, it ate it. So then I had to go get liquid nail, which is kind of like caulk in a caulk gun, but it's liquid nail. That worked really good. So I put it over the little part that it kind of melted and put my, well, I don't like the way it looks. So these little pieces like this, I'm going to take that board and do this on a big scale. But I have to wait overnight for it to dry with the liquid nail. So once I get that whole door, I'll take a picture, because then it'll hide all my supplies that are in it, and y'all be able to see. So I am making this on a big scale too, and that would be awesome in your, what you're talking about in your laundry room. And y'all saw how this is not hard. And this right here, you get it in a sheet that's as big as a door, and you can cut this with your X-Acto knife too. Now you can cut it with that, but this right here was the one that kind of was slow moving, because it's really like, I mean, just pressed and thick. But you can cut it with your X-Acto knife, and you can glue that together and paint it and make it look just like this. And it's really light. So if you have like a cabinet or a wall that you don't have like a stud behind it, you need to hang something like this. I mean, this would hang up with a tack. It's really, really light. So yes, that is awesome that you want to do. We only have a Hobby Lobby in North Myrtle Beach. We have Michael's at the beach, and Michael's is a Roar Car too. Your phone number. Oh, okay. Yes, I love Michael's. Michael's is where I probably used to go more to Michael's than I went to Hobby Lobby, because I understood their sales and how it worked, and they would send me emails. But then my sister's the one that taught me. She was like, listen, every other week, if you want something at Hobby Lobby, go back the next week and it'll be 50% off. And that is true. So I really don't go into Michael's quite as much. Last night was a hoot. We did have, like, y'all need a good laugh, go back and watch last night. I mean, I went to bed and I was still laughing about my little chicken feathers. Yes. All right, so listen, I'm going to take my brown again. And I don't have my, I wish I'd have brought that other stuff, but this will be okay. But yeah, I like Michaels too. I just don't go anymore. But thank you, Kay. All right, so I don't want as much paint on it this time, so I'm gonna go around the edges, and I'm just gonna. Probably took too much. It's not chalk paint; it's regular paint. So, okay. I'm gonna clean those edges up just a little. So see, and I'm only gonna do that like maybe on the edges. And y'all, the rust idea, going and getting cinnamon would work really well on this too. All right, there we go. Cleaning up more of those edges. We want to look like we have just really got some wood out the yard. Now you can go back. Say like right here is what you were seeing more of. You can go back and just highlight the parts that you can see a lot of and kind of like use that as a guide. Okay, that's that edge. Y'all, there are so many ways, and you just play with your paint. You get to a point that you doesn't like it, take your white back out, and I'll tell you the simplest thing to do, especially if you're playing around with your paint, is get all of your sides done. Like right now, I only have 2 sides done. Especially if you're playing with your painting techniques. Have all 4 of your sides out and do everything the same to them, especially if it's something that's going to connect. That way you won't have, one side that looks like it's a total different thing. As far as like the wood. I mean, you can maybe do different decorations on it, but you don't want it to be so different than the rest of it. There we go. You do this part. Remember to go, even though it's distressing, go with like the grain of your wood. Just like you did with your white. Okay, so now all of our edges are done. Let's do this long piece. I'm a poster board girl too. I did flowers and decorated a wedding venue, and a couple wanted to letter their name on a barnyard door. Yes, I mean, and y'all I always tell y'all, if you always have to worry about stabilizing your stuff, poster board is the best thing, this foam board, because it's so light. I mean, you don't have to have like a nail. Like I said, when you're hanging something up, you don't have to go find a stud. And it looks exactly like it would if I would have dug old wood. Yeah, I like using old pieces of wood too. But when you can use something that's like this, cheaper and a lot lighter, especially if you're going to hang it on a door. Like I said, I hate having to find a darn stud in your wall. All right, there we go. This I'm not going to do as much. I kind of like that the center, like just the center, is kind of, almost don't want to mess with these little triangle background pieces because I kind of like where they are now. Just kind of put something in the center. Okay, there we go. All right, so that is going to be my color technique, but anything could be different. If you wanted it more, like I said, if you wanted to keep it white, even though it's white, take any kind of chalk paint white and go ahead and paint it white, because then you're going to, and you can put just a little bit of highlight in it. But I see every now and again I see a place that, like with the paper, is kind of getting a little wet. I don't know if, see, like the paper's trying to come up. When it dries, it'll settle back down, probably on its own. But if not, I'll get a little Elmer's glue or something and put, you know, in there, Mod Podge, whatever you have. Just put a little bit in there and it'll keep it down. Don't put hot glue in it because it'll melt the styrofoam that's in between the foam in between the paper layers. But I love that. Yeah, I really do too. But remember, if you just wanted white, it's just as pretty too. And probably from a distance you don't have to paint it, but I would suggest painting it. It'll probably just put a good little sealant on it, and you won't be able to tell the foam from the paper. It'll just be like all one material. Okay, how I'm gonna put them together. What I'll do is probably go ahead and paint the ends, but that way you won't be able to see. We painted the top, but I didn't so much worry about the sides. And one side you're not really gonna see because you have to decide if you want this on the front or this, and it doesn't matter because all you're gonna be losing is maybe about almost half an inch. And remember, when I did the 20 inches, I had an inch or so to play with. Okay, so in order to put that together, instead of, you probably can run like some kind of bead down there, but I don't wanna do that on my board. I'm gonna get these Jenga blocks out, and I got so many for $1. All right. Ooh, watch me do this and they go everywhere. Let me be smart. I don't think I've ever had a pack this big. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it. And it's just like I said, the sky's the limit. And if you have a really tight space where your Christmas tree is, and you really do this where it's way, because you want it to be under your tree. You don't want it to make it so big that when you're standing up on the top of it, you'll see what's behind here. You want it to sit back as it's a planter. Your tree is in, like, you know, soil is what it's kind of supposed to be like. All right, so what I'm going to do is take my little Jenga blocks and I'm just going to go down. Now you can put them on your side like this, or you can put them down like this. I would actually get more room to glue if I put it straight up and down. But I'm just going to go all the way down on my side, and I'll just do one side to show you, and then we'll be done. And we did a pretty big craft for and listen, you want to get them right, oh, ow, I don't have my finger protectors on, right on the edge, because remember, you want to do it flat. Let me get my finger protectors out. Okay. And listen, make sure you know how you want to do it, because this is pretty much on here when you put this on here. I mean, it's going to tear the paper if you tear them off. But if you had to, I would suggest go back and take your like X-Acto knife and try to like crease it in there and cut the glue. Don't try to just pull it off, because you're going to tear the paper, or maybe even like put a crease in this, and then they're not really going to stand up good. But remember, you only have $1 in it if you mess up one side. You only have $1 in it. Gosh, y'all. You see, you make something so awesome. I tell you all the time when I have like one of those awesome wood pieces from Jennifer, cut this out of poster board. Because it doesn't matter if you have styrofoam. It's like my new thing now that I got that cutter. But I bet you Jennifer's like, why did she not call me? But she's probably glad, because I aggravate her. But, and listen, you probably don't have to do, I'm doing this all the way down. You probably could put 2 or 3 inches in between each one. I'm just Want to stabilize it good. Tree collars are all the rage this year. They really are. And like I said, you know, some things come and go. Ooh, maybe start at the bottom. Okay. So I'm only going to, look, it would poke out the way it needs to sit. So either I have to get something to cut this, or, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Just going to kind of put this behind it a little bit. I didn't think about that, y'all. Sorry. So maybe space them out. Space them out. Take your Jenga blocks out and space them out where you'll have one that's level with the bottom and one that's level with the top. So if I put those on the corner of each one of mine, I mean, you only have to put it on two sides. Each one of this side, and pick the opposite side, because when it connects with this, all I have to do is run a bead of line down my boards now. So not only do I have like the edge, I've got a whole edge of these Jenga blocks now that I can run a bead down, and all I have to do, because it would probably hold, but you're only talking about a ½ an inch to put them together, where now I have a little over an inch to hold them together. And this will be my front. And like I said, after you put your third side on over here, it's gonna stand up on its own. So you really maybe technically don't have to make the fourth side. You could just slide it under your tree. Like I'm having to slide mine under because it's already decorated. But if there's a way you can like go ahead and connect all four sides, and you could just pick your Christmas tree up and set it in there, bless you. But I can't do that. But if you're, say if it's new decoration next year when you're getting your Christmas out, you can set this out, set your stand in it, and then start putting your tree up. So it would make sense. But then you would have to figure out how do you take it apart to store it, because you want to be able to store it, you know, flat like this, you know, or you could just set it, you know, on the side of a closet, all four pieces. So if you want to put your Jenga blocks here and maybe get like some pieces of Velcro, and that way the Velcro, when they slide together, and then when Christmas is over and you're taking it down, they can just unvelcro. And I may see that. I think I may have some of those Velcro dots in there. But I'll probably be in such a hurry to put it up that I'm gonna go ahead and do it. But I love this, but like I said, white is just as pretty. And then the side, okay, we've already done that. With just the surrounding pieces around it, and you leave this in the center blank, would be just as pretty too, because then you can add an initial on one side. But y'all, thank y'all so much for watching. I'm gonna sit here and finish gluing these together. And what is tonight? Wednesday, hump day. I will see y'all tomorrow night, and I'll show you maybe if I find some goodies at Hobby Lobby, I'll be able to share them with you. But thanks so much for watching. And y'all have anybody have any more questions? Wow, you took that from new to old. Thank you. I really love this. That turned out fantastic. Great job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow.